Hi Storyworks readers, my name is Steve Schenken. You might know me as the author of nonfiction books like Bomb, Undefeated, and Fallout. And today, I'm here to take you behind the scenes of Stranded at Sea, my narrative nonfiction article in the latest issue of Storyworks. It's the incredible true story of 11 American sailors who got shipwrecked on a small island in 1943 during World War II. They had no food, no water, no supplies, and worst of all, they were right in the middle of enemy territory. Just when all hope seemed to be lost, two teens from a nearby island came to their rescue. In saving the sailors, these teens actually changed the course of history. That's because one of the sailors was John F. Kennedy, who would go on to be elected president in 1960. I first learned about this story when I was researching my book Fallout, a Cold War thriller. The book is set in the early 1960s when Kennedy was president. As I was reading about his early life, I came across this incredible survival story set right in the heart of World War II. When you're writing nonfiction, you obviously can't make anything up, but you want the story to be just as exciting as a movie. And this story has all the elements: a shipwreck at sea, a deserted island, a daring rescue. As a writer of true stories, I felt like I had hit the jackpot. So when the Storyworks team got in touch with me about writing an article, I had a feeling that this would be perfect. To put together the story, I knew I would need to do a lot of research. You might think I'm just saying this because your teacher is listening, but I always start off by going to the library and reading through books about my topic. My research took me back to one of the darkest times in history, World War II. The war began in Europe in 1939. By the time it ended 6 years later, it had become a vast global conflict involving dozens of countries around the world. On one side were the Axis powers, led by Germany, Italy, and Japan. These countries were trying to become more powerful by conquering other nations. Another group of countries, known as the Allies, joined forces to stop them. The United States, Great Britain, China, and the Soviet Union were all part of this group. At first, the US did not join in the fighting. It helped the Allies by sending supplies. But in 1941, Japan launched a massive surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, a US military base in Hawaii. Within days, the United States had declared war against the Axis powers.
On Sunday, December 7, 1941, a state of war has existed.
After the US joined the war, the fighting took place in two main areas, Europe and the Pacific Ocean. My story would take place in the Pacific in 1943. The Japanese military had conquered huge parts of East Asia and the Pacific. The US and its allies were locked in bloody battles with Japan for control of this territory. John Kennedy was a part of the struggle. A young naval officer, he was sent to the Solomon Islands in the South Pacific and given command of a small patrol torpedo boat, PT-109. The incredibly dangerous job of PT boats was to patrol waterways between islands, hunting enemy ships as they passed. On the night of August 1st, 1943, Kennedy and his crew were out on patrol when a Japanese warship slammed into their boat and ripped it in two. The sailors were tossed into the ocean. They managed to swim to a tiny nearby island, only to find nothing there. No food, no water, no chance of survival. Their only hope was for someone to come rescue them. I read several books about this dramatic chapter in Kennedy's life, but the most important information I found wasn't in the books themselves. It was in the source notes at the end. This is a nerdy detective trick you can use in your own research. In the source notes, you can find out where the author got their information. In this case, the notes led me to a treasure trove of oral histories, recorded interviews with Kennedy, the other sailors, the teenagers who rescued them, and even the Japanese commander who rammed into their boat. Reading through their memories of this event, I was able to see the story from many different points of view. And that's what helped me really bring it to life for you when I began writing. Take the beginning of the article, for example. For me, writing the first section is always the most important part. I knew I wanted to start with a really dramatic moment to pull you in right away. In their oral histories, Kennedy and the other sailors talked about what it was like for them after they were thrown into the sea. Clinging to pieces of their broken boat, fires burning all around them, right in the heart of enemy territory. They even remembered bits of what they had said to each other, which is priceless when you're writing nonfiction. These kinds of details helped me craft a vivid, exciting opening scene that would make you feel like you were part of the action. Once I got started, the main challenge was keeping the article from being 30 pages. There were just so many cool details I wanted to share with you. But I've learned something strange from my years of writing. You can cut something perfectly good from your story, and what's left will be even better. It will be tighter, more fast-paced, and the reader will never know what you cut out. After I had a solid draft, I sent it to the wonderful editors at Storyworks. When you get an assignment back from your teacher with notes about what you could improve, do you ever say to yourself, "This is awesome, now I get to do this again"? Yeah, I didn't think so. But for a writer, it actually is awesome. The feedback I got from the Storyworks team helped me make my article better, correcting anything that was unclear and making the story move even faster. I hope you enjoy reading this article as much as I enjoyed working on it. I was fascinated to learn this exciting survival story about one of the most famous people in U.S. history. But to me, the real beauty of the story is the role that these two young teenagers played in rescuing Kennedy. I love the idea that seemingly small things done by non-famous people can end up changing the course of history. And you never know when that's going to happen. Who knows? Maybe you will find yourselves making history one day.